This short film is part of a series introducing you to farm business Ruhe Agrar. In part 4, we focus on their farm in Vehlow, which we arranged to visit at the end of June 2020. So let's go. We're off to the northwest of Brandenburg. Vehlow is made up of several residential areas and is situated in the rural district of Prignitz, around 100 kilometers northwest of Berlin. At this farm, Ruhe Agrar runs a biogas plant and rears beef cattle. We'll take a closer look at both areas of the business later in the film. First, we're heading out to the field with a harvesting crew from agricultural contractors Osters Voß. In addition to maize, this farm's whole crop silage, made up of rye and triticale, is an important source of biomass for the biogas plant. They harvest 200 hectares from their own land and chop the same again from the fields of neighbouring farms. Agricultural contractors Osters Voß are one of the largest and best-known agricultural service providers in Germany. They employ a team of around 200 across the entire company. The company has over a dozen harvesting crews and around 100 tractors in its fleet. To run the 5 biogas plants Ruhe Agrar has on its farms, it takes around 200,000 tons of renewable raw materials, mostly maize and whole crop silage. To harvest these quantities, the company either uses its own machinery or, depending on the location, it has service contracts with agricultural contractors, as it does here in Vehlow. With the energy it produces, Ruhe Agrar supplies around 26,000 households. This enables over 60,000 tons of CO2 to be saved each year. The Osters Voß team here today is made up of 3 carting tractors, the Claas Jaguar and 2 Fendts on the silage clamp. From the Vehlow farm, just this 936 Vario is part of the harvesting crew on the longer distance runs. Ruhe Agrar took over the farm business in Vehlow in 2010. Its modern 2.7 megawatt biogas plant and fantastic drive-in silage clamps already existed back then, but the rest of the buildings and livestock sheds were in poor condition. This aerial imagery was taken by the team to document the first few months of renovation work. With a lot of drive and commitment from the team, new machinery buildings and offices have been built, and the dairy unit converted into a modern beef rearing unit that actually exceeds the current legal requirement for animal husbandry. Arnold is from the Netherlands and is responsible for the beef rearing operations. He's worked on various dairy farms before. Similar to the Dachau farm, an automatic feeding system has been installed in the livestock housing unit as part of the renovations. For various reasons, including how the buildings are structured, they opted for Lely feeding robots here in Vehlow. The feed is freshly prepared in this so-called feed kitchen, normally on a daily basis. The silage blocks are set down on the marked areas. If necessary, the system can prepare enough feed for the 590 beef cattle for up to 3 days in this building. The robot gathers all the ingredients together with its grab according to a specific recipe, which is entered via the app or on a PC, then makes its way to the 4 housing units. At the same time, it analyses the remaining quantities at the feed fence. This enables the animals to be supplied with fresh feed 5 times a day. As a result, it reduces stress among the animals and increases flexibility within the team. Retaining and hiring new team members is not easy here in Prignitz. It's one of the most sparsely populated regions in Germany. Ruhe Agrar farms just under 1,000 hectares at its Vehlow farm, 100 hectares of which is pasture for feed production. As well as providing a harvesting crew, Osters Voß are already operating a slurry tanker and feeder tankers for Ruhe Agrar today. They're using a 35 cubic metre Trident tanker from Danish manufacturer Samson for spreading. The agricultural contractors spread all the digestate from the biogas plants in Vehlow. Ruhe Biogas Service, or RBS for short, is based here in Vehlow too. Enrico and Valdemar are employed as technicians for RBS. The service is aimed at biogas plant operators and includes technical maintenance and optimization support for biogas plants and combined heat and power plants. Today, they're performing scheduled maintenance work on a combined heat and power plant in Wutike. As the crow flies, the biogas plant is located just over 4 kilometers from here. The methane produced in the fermenters at the biogas plant is condensed and pumped below ground all the way here to the CHP plant. In the building here, there is a large 527 kilowatt gas engine from Jenbacher that is driven by the methane. The energy that is generated is fed into the grid via a transformer, and the heat is delivered to several dozens of households in the surrounding area. Across all its plants, Ruhe Agrar has around 20 of these engines in operation. The maintenance work is heavily focused on inspecting the combustion chambers and the spark plugs. Once the engines have clocked up around 75,000 hours, they are completely replaced and reconditioned. RBS also takes care of this work for Ruhe Agrar and other plant operators. Now back to the harvesting. Hot on the heels of the chopper, the team is also spreading lime and cultivating the stubble. Based on soil samples, they top up the fields with lime every 4 years or so in order to stabilize the pH level. From an arable point of view, Vehlow is a very challenging farm. The soil is sandy and has a low arable quality rating of only 20 to 35 on the German soil map. The annual rainfall is also extremely variable. In 2017, for example, they had no less than 935 millimeters, whereas in 2018 it was only half as much. As you may be able to tell from these dusty scenes, this year has been a dry year. The extremely variable conditions are also reflected in the farm's yields. With rye, which you can see here now, they can bring in anything from 10 to 35 tons per hectare. The yields per hectare they achieve later on from maize even range between 15 and 50 tons. Our series of short films following the work of farm business Ruhe Agrar throughout the course of the year is not over just yet. Part 5 is focused on the grain harvest at their new farm in Piche, in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania. Many thanks for your interest in this short film. If you enjoyed the film, why not take a look at www.farmworld.tv.